I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't
God
that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Boy, all losses hurt, but especially when you're just that close and getting into overtime and playing without your superstar. Well, it was tough to fend off a 54-point game by Tyrese Maxey. A new career high for him, the 54 points, the third most in the NBA games this year.
The Bucks played last night? Oh, crap. Missed it. Sorry.
Oh, you did? That's weird. I miss you, Giannis.
Let's go. Happy Friday. Ryan Rollins put up 30-something. I mean, that's
32.
not terrible without him. I mean, they went to overtime against a team with a winning record.
Yes. They also gave up 54.
Okay.
One player.
He's pretty good.
Yes, he is. Very good.
We are too. What's up, Wisconsin? At least I think we are. Happy Friday. A little slap happy. I love it.
It's going to be a show today.
Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, and a lot of other people today. We said at the end of yesterday's show, hey, let's have a guest-a-palooza, shall we? Oh, what's that? We're going to add, we have 4 now. So scheduled to appear, because you never know how this stuff goes.
Correct.
7 o'clock Central Time. That's relevant to us because he's not in Central Time. He's in Eastern Time, and he's in Florida, but we know him as one of us. Frankie Bag of Donuts Winters joins us at 7 a.m. this morning to talk about the black and blue division that is the old NFC Central. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they gone. Bears, Lions, Vikings, what was it like during the Favre era? Nobody better to tell us than the guy that literally got touched by Favre every single game.
Correct.
Frank
Correct,
Winters.
man. I was watching some highlights as a Super Bowl 31, and I'm not going to lie, my first thought when I was watching this is, you ever have friends or people that when they don't want to watch the Super Bowl that year, they'll throw on one of the old Packers ones that are either being from 45 or 30 or 31. And I was like, man, 31 was sure a great game.
That was a good one.
I think I actually prefer watching that to 2010.
I'm heading for Deer Camp next weekend. We have Super Bowl 31 on VHS.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the thing still works.
Yeah, you got to get that. You got to get that over to DVD.
It's a good point.
Save that.
Can you do that?
I don't know, but in the process, you probably download it on a computer and live in 2025.
Is that legal? Napster? We talked about ripping stuff off yesterday. Okay.
Correct.
It's perfect. 7:40, my guy, your guy, our guy, Dave Schrader from WBAY Sports will join us to preview the Vikings-Packers game. And if there are things to worry about other than us, we'll talk about that, and I have questions as well. At 8 o'clock, the 30-point buck is going to hit the radio, and we're going to talk to the Wisconsin DNR whitetail deer specialist. His name is Jeff Pritzel. Tomorrow, and this is my favorite part. You and I are so different.
Oh, I mean,
Tip of the iceberg.
I am literally going to be with all of you out there, non-hunters, listening to this segment with an open notebook of just learning.
I bet you are
learning stuff and going through.
Frivolously taking notes.
The closest I've ever came to killing a deer is with my car.
Yeah, it's not a great way to do it.
Nope, no, not the preferred way.
It is the start of the 9-day gun deer season here in Wisconsin tomorrow, and so many of you potentially listening right now are on your way to deer camp. At least you will be at some point today. Probably getting ready. Probably slept in for the last time in the next 9 days, let's be honest. Congrats on being up. You might be off of work today. There's a lot of dudes that take off. Get up there. Start cooking. Getting the chili ready. I know you've got a big old bowl of chili in your future.
Darn right.
There's a lot of chili in the future of deer hunters. Say that again. I talked over you. Sorry.
I said I can't wait. Literally woke up this morning and was like, all right, 6 hours till chili. Here we go.
We just talked off the air about how much I can't wait to get to breakfast. You're like, oh, I got to stop eating so much. But
I
anyway,
know.
the first thing I thought about was chili.
I know.
When I woke up.
I got to stop eating so much. Doesn't mean I can't stop thinking about chili.
Do you see what's on your hat today?
I know. A slice of pizza.
Yeah.
I know. My life is in shambles right now, man.
No, it is not.
My body is
shambles.
going, you're either going to give
hungry.
us sleep or you're going to give us food. And this job says, you're going to give us food.
Food it is. How about some food? Okay, sounds good. All right, so Frankie Winters, check. Dave Schrader, check. Jeff Pritzel from the Wisconsin DNR, check. And then, of course, every Monday and every Friday, our guy Andy Herman from the Pack a Day podcast will jump on with us roughly 8:20, 8:25. So Bucks lose one in OT last night. And yesterday, they came out with the Packers-Vikings day plan, Lambeau plan. They always say, we're ready for the Vikings to come to town, and here's all the things you need to know. I always go and look for the flyover.
Yeah.
What will the flyover be? Will there be a flyover? Is it jets? Is it helicopters? Which is by far the best one I've ever seen, by the way.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Oh, the whole thing shakes as if it doesn't. Well, this one might take the cake. On Sunday, look this up when you get a chance. Not that you're going to remember this, but KC 135, it's a refueling big jumbo jet.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
You have, because it flew over AmFam Field the day they did Bob Uecker's tribute. The remembrance of Bob Uecker, they flew that over. As if that wasn't enough, look this up, Josh. There's also a C5 aircraft. A C5 aircraft. So one's coming from Oklahoma, the other's coming from Delaware. 2 jumbo jets.
Man, 2 just huge planes.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
One of the scariest moments, I'm not kidding, one of the scariest moments of my life, and I know what you're going to say, geez, that was nothing to be afraid of. Well, I was. Just after 9/11, I was at a game at Lambeau, and the Bears plane came in and flew directly over Lambeau Field to land to pick up that team. Just after 9/11.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I feel like a little bit of nerves were justified there.
That hit the paper up here.
Yeah, I bet.
People are like, what in the ever-living, what was that?
Yeah, how was that okay?
It wasn't. Turns out that's frowned upon to fly directly over a giant filled NFL stadium, but somehow they did it. I've flown into Green Bay 25 times. That's not the flight pattern.
No, they were off course.
Way off course.
Boy, oh boy.
They buzzed the tower, and the tower was pissed. But anyway, 2 jumbo jets from the United States Air Force. The flyover on Sunday for Vikings, Packers, and the start of 5 out of 7 games in the NFC North. Vikings Sunday, quick turnaround. Lions on Thursday for Thanksgiving. A little bit of a break. Back home, Bears, Packers, which, by the way, apparently a rivalry game. Did you see the news about this game yesterday?
No, tell me about it.
You didn't see it?
I did.
December 7th, Lambeau Field. It got flexed. It was noon. It's now 3:25. I wrote in our notes why. Maybe because that's the bigger rivalry game.
Well, the NFL is absolutely going to push that because the Bears are worth a damn this year.
But that's a few weeks away. So leave it to the Bears to somehow not be worth a damn by the time they get to Lambeau Field.
That's a very good
3
point.
weeks.
They sure could.
Yeah. They play just as many times as we do. They're 7-3. Packers 6-3-1. Vikings not. Like, what are they, 4-5 or something like that?
Yeah,
Bottom of the division. That scares me more than playing a 7-3 Bears team.
And is that not? I 100% agree with you. And is that not crazy?
That's stupid.
Is that not crazy that we're going, oh boy, more worried about playing a team with a worse record?
That just goes to show you how little trust we have in this team putting together the complete game that we talked about yesterday. Oh, we're gonna hear from Rich Bisaccia. We're gonna hear from Jordan Love. We're gonna hear from Adam Stenovich in the next segment. And I have questions because Josh and I just can't put all of our eggs in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
It's too volatile. Eggs, you have to be careful with eggs.
Sure.
This doesn't seem like something we should put all of our hopes and dreams into.
Does it also not still kind of feel like I don't know. Like, I still feel weird. Like, I haven't given this game enough attention. Is it really just because of the Vikings record? I feel like usually Packers-Vikings games are talked about a lot more. There's a lot more analysis. There's a lot more talk of just the fan bases, the history, the players that left. I usually see some meme of Brett Favre or something. Everyone's, I don't know, focused as I am on why does Rich Bisaccia have a job, and
That's why.
how's Matt LaFleur doing today?
That's why. This year, the focus all week is on us, not our opponent. Literally, up until yesterday, they had barely even talked about the Vikings in Packers media and press conferences and all the things.
Why?
There's more to worry about in our own house than someone else's house.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I don't think it makes any sense, but that's what's going on. That's why we have not talked a ton about the Vikings coming in to Lambeau Field, not necessarily because they're in last place in the division, but more because why aren't we in last place in the division? That's what it kind of feels like. So
yeah,
there's a lot of chatter about what the Packers need to do different in order to continue this potentially upswing of events during games. But that's why we're spending a lot of time talking about ourselves.
And the Packers keep giving us reasons to.
Yeah, that's also true.
I wish they wouldn't.
Me too.
Fix something and have it stick. That'd be nice.
Saw one of the craziest things ever in a high school football game last night. So Winneconne Little Shoot.
Yeah.
Congrats to Winneconne. This is relative to me because this is the division, and ironically, Winneconne is in the conference that the old Fox Valley Lutheran Foxes play in.
Okay,
which I
there you go.
stay close to, right? Because that's where my son played.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm watching this game last night, and I believe the final ended up 22-20, but I saw something happen in that football game, and if you watched it, maybe you did too. There was instant replay in a high school game during the state championship last night. Was pause. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's a little much, but okay.
Even in the state championship, when they have the ability to have so many different cameras since they're broadcasting the game on TV?
Okay. Maybe that's different because they're broadcasting it. Yeah. All right. Then I'm more okay with it.
So obviously we're all used to instant replay in NFL or even college at some point, but the rule is that you can't move on. You can't play the next play and have an instant replay come after that. Like the second you snap the ball,
it's
game over.
Yep. Well, it's not game over, but you can't go back.
It's game over on the replay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Something happened in the game last night. I was half asleep, but this definitely woke me up when I kind of heard it going on in the background. There was a play that had some sort of fumble. The outcome of the play, who recovered, not sure. They move on in the game and play at least one more play. And let's say 40-ish seconds came off the clock. All of a sudden, ref starts blowing his whistle, calls everything dead, and that's when the conversations start. Here, apparently, it took a minute for the booth to go, whoa, hey, I want to check that play before. Yeah, they went back and reviewed 2 plays ago.
Oh, and that's allowed?
I don't know. The
well,
coach
clearly they did it.
Winneconne did not think that was allowed. I've never seen that was an animated fella.
So just so that I understand this, a play happened, it was down. The next play happened, it was down.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and reviewed the play before that last play?
Yep. And I'm not sure if something changed. However, they ended up replaying that down. So let's just say that was second down. They just played third down.
So it eliminated two plays.
Went back to second down, added the time back on the clock.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
In the state championship game.
Yeah. You can't. No. I don't like that.
Here's what I do like, though. Could you use that once or twice in your life?
I mean, so already in the show, probably, yeah.
Instant replay is one thing. But now you get to go a couple plays backwards. Like, think about that just from a sports perspective. How many games would be different if you weren't allowed to scramble to the line of scrimmage and get a playoff before you could say instant replay?
Yeah.
Like, we're 2 plays down, but you know what? We got that a minute ago. That we got that one wrong, we think. So we're going to just time out my time. I'm going to go and review that play, and then we'll decide on how we want these next two plays to shake. Just hang on a second. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
What?
Nuts. That can't happen. Did that impact the game?
I don't think so. Winneconne's coach was wild about it. I mean, wild.
Sure.
Fairly excitable fella from what it appeared to begin with, to be honest, but wild about it. Nonetheless, they ended up winning the game. So I don't think necessarily it had an outcome. You'd have to ask a little shoot.
Sure.
Actually, I wouldn't.
Yeah, they're not doing well today.
Maybe give them some time.
Yeah. Let them calm down a little bit. That's still insane, though. And if that existed at the major league level, I mean, people would lose their minds.
Oh.
And the way that it would be taken advantage of, even at the high school level, that's why I'm saying I don't think that can work. If that is a rule and you know it's a rule, you can totally use that to your advantage. Absolutely, you can. You know what? Actually, hold on. Go back and check that play 2 plays ago.
Right.
And then what? If the call is right on the field, then both plays stick. That gets way too in the weeds for me.
It definitely would change the way the game is played for sure. But I thought that was nuts.
Can I also just say, I know that obviously, you're a dad with kids playing high school sports. Jordy is not super into playing sports, and that makes sense because his dad loves sports. But if I ever am a parent of a high school athlete, I am going to be the most obnoxious, emotional, worried every single game parent in the history of high school sports. Right. And if I was there and saw that play happen, I would be in a cop car. There would have been a fan on the field.
Where's Josh? Why isn't he here this morning? Why can't we do the radio together? Oh, he's in jail.
Woo!
What happened? Get an accident or something? Nope. He rushed the field at his son's state football championship game last night.
Yeah.
Well, I'll bail him out because I want to talk about that.
Yikes.
Jeez. Yeah. You're a nervous Nelly at most sporting events. All sporting events I've seen you watch so far.
Yeah.
Now, granted, those were Brewers playoff games.
They were big games. Yeah.
I've never sat with you during a Packers game yet. Are you that way then?
No. I mean, I'm dialed in, but there's not as much to. If it's just a regular season game.
You're not rocking back and forth.
No. Although we already have Q chiming in this morning on the YouTube. Remember, you can also interact with us there. You said that this game against the Vikings will entirely determine the trajectory of the rest of the season.
Oh, no pressure. Do you feel that way?
I don't know that I feel that way. Does it?
Well, it certainly wouldn't put a good step in the right direction as we head into 5 in the next 7 games against the NFC North. That's like, it would not set the tone. And if there's something that we can see out of this Vikings-Packers game, it's a tone setter.
I'm just saying, I feel like if the Packers lose to the Vikings and then beat the Lions on Thanksgiving and the Bears the following week, this game did nothing. This game didn't matter. We beat the 2 teams that we were most, that were atop the division.
Remember I said something about that flyover just a moment ago?
Yeah.
A buddy of mine texted me. He was in the Navy. He goes, hey, by the way, don't hold your breath on that whole C5 flyover thing. Those things have a bit of a tough record on being able to fly when scheduled.
Oh, good. All right, so you might only get one. You might only get one humongous plane.
Yeah, maybe not both.
And
thank you for your service, Scott. We love you.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we have a few questions, and we'll get to them. Special teams, ? Jordan Love's shoulder, ? Adam Stenavich isn't going to put in Malik Willis, right? ? Stay classy, San Diego. Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Josh, Trevor, you. Good morning, Wisconsin. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL and CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started. Josh, you and I have questions.
Sure do.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line 414-677-1250. This time every day, Josh and I ask a question or two or three about the world of Wisconsin sports and what might be a bit puzzling to us.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need a little clarity.
Or maybe we're really, really upset.
Yeah, annoyed.
And we need we need to know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, this question is good. What was that? Real good question.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Hey, before we jump in, I've been mentioning as the week has gone by, I've got a buddy that is doing this thing over in Mount Everest. He climbed Mount Everest to I believe it's the lowest base camp. Don't quote me on that, Mike. Lowest base camp, highest base camp, whatever it was. He spent the better part of a week, if not a little bit more, over in Nepal and Everest and all those things. And now he's on his way home. He did it successfully and safely. I can't imagine what that experience was like, but I just asked him. I said, tell me about your journey in 7 words or less. And he said, people of Nepal and Everest are unforgettable. And here I'm like wondering what the Northwoods are like this weekend. And
yeah, right.
Mount Everest. Pretty incredible. All right. I have questions about this weekend. And Josh, I know you do too.
Yeah, sure do.
We've been talking about whether or not the Vikings will beat the Packers or if the Packers will beat the Packers. And so we dove into some of the presser audio yesterday and the day before. Jordan Love talked, Rich Bisaccia talked, Adam Stenovich talked, and we have 3 questions. So for Rich Bisaccia, our question to you is there anything about the Vikings special teams that we should be worried about?
Appreciate the question about Minnesota. The return unit with the rookie is impressive. He's had, I think, 3 called back. He's had a 99-yarder called back. He's had a 60-yarder called back. I think he'd be leading the league if those 2 things weren't called back. He's had 1 fumble on the kickoff return, but he's also had, I think he had a 43-yard punt return last week and 2 18-yard punt returns. So, he's somebody we're going to have to try to manage somehow during the course of the game.
That's good.
Right off the bat, Rich goes, I appreciate the question about the opponent we're playing.
That's because it was 6 minutes into his 8-minute presser when we finally stopped talking about our special teams.
Yeah.
And was like, oh,
and
wait
your
a minute,
job
Vikings.
And what you're supposed to be doing, Rich.
Exactly. Who's kicking? Got it. How's it going? Got it. How's the punting? Got it. What's the holding situation and the long snapping situation, Rich? Okay, we'll talk about that.
Hey, what about the Vikings?
There you go. Hey,
thank you.
He's talking about the Vikings rookie kickoff returner, Miles Price. Apparently he's a problem, and he was an undrafted rookie. So we all had our opportunity to go and nab him.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, though, when you and I were talking about to be more afraid of the who if there's a worry for this game, is it with the Packers or is it that they're playing the Vikings? Everyone's going to say, well, the Vikings haven't been playing well, so it's got to be the Packers. Remember, look at the losses and the tie we have this year. They aren't against teams that have winning records, that are playing super well. It also doesn't matter if we're on the road or if we're at home. All of those statistics or things that you're worrying about can go out the window. This team has played down to their competition. Now you add in that there's a really good guy on the Vikings special teams going against this amazing Packers special teams.
Goody.
Oh, boy.
Is it more of the specialists, though, about the Packers special teams that we are worried about? Because it doesn't seem like our coverage teams on our punts or kickoffs are necessarily a problem. Knock on all the Formica.
I worry about all of it.
Okay.
All of it.
We're not
Special
talking about-
if Rich Bisaccia is in charge of it, I'm worrying about it. Period.
That's valid. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So there's this Miles Price guy. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What about our offense? Is there anything to worry about? Jordan,
Yeah.
Is your
How's he doing?
what's up with the shoulder, buddy? Is that
No. I mean, obviously, being the left side, it's something that you don't have to worry about. If it was the right side, it'd be a different story, throwing the ball wise. But you just gotta try not to take as many hits, and obviously be smart. Scrambling and getting outside the pocket, things like that, not taking any unnecessary shots.
What I heard him say was nothing to worry about unless I get hit.
Nothing to worry about because it's the left.
Yeah.
That makes it seem to me like it's not better. You just don't have to worry about it because it doesn't move as much when I throw.
What he's saying is if it was my right, I wouldn't be playing.
Right. Exactly.
But because it's my left and I don't really use that, well, then we're good to go. What I love the most about that piece of audio are the first two words. Can you tell Jordan Love is becoming one of us? Yeah, no, or no, yeah, Jordan.
Yeah, or no. No,
yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah.
I love that, by the way. Yeah, no, yeah.
That's what he says.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Here it is. Do it one more time.
No. I mean,
No, yeah, no.
No, yeah, no. Yeah, no, yeah.
You've been in Northeast Wisconsin for a minute, have you? Yeah, no, yeah.
You know, my favorite thing to point out is the nose.
Yeah.
When people go, hey, are you going to Natty Oaks for chili after the show or no?
Or no.
Or no.
So our guys at Nicolay Law have a billboard up here between Green Bay and the Fox Valley. And it says, injured or no?
Oh, brilliant.
It's so good.
I love that.
Injured or no?
Or no.
I love it. 414-677-1250. Get your questions in this morning during I Have Questions here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. All right. Miles Turner. Nope. Miles Price. Miles Turner's a problem too.
Yeah.
Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah. He's not playing at Lambeau on Sunday.
Yeah. Well,
but still a
playing
problem.
at Fiserv either. Miles Price is a problem. Jordan Love's shoulder, not a problem. Unless he gets hit, then it's a problem. But it's definitely not a problem because it's his left and not his right. Because if it was his right, it'd be a problem.
That's right.
And left. Adam Stenovich. The offense, is it humming? Do we have any ideas about putting Malik Willis in?
And that's one thing we always talk about, is getting him in there and doing some quarterback run stuff or just different things you can do with Malik for sure.
And the downside to that is you're taking your really good quarterback off the field.
Exactly.
Right. Well, there's that.
What? I'm sorry.
So
What?
apparently, they've actually considered putting Malik Willis in there in what sounds like some sort of wildcat formation and or 2-point conversions. We've been talking about this all week. Apparently, they have as well.
That's very interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think the answer is I don't like it. Focus on Jordan Love being good, please.
Our guy Tommy Wartz had some questions after that came out yesterday. And let's just say he's not well. He's so over the Malik Willis conversation. Tommy is, guys, he did a great job doing his job. And his job is backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So Tommy's like, what? Are we just going to play Malik Willis at running back? What if Malik Willis was lining up in the slot and takes a jet motion? What if they test Malik Willis on punt returns first to see if he should play more on offense? All valid questions.
Yeah.
He's good.
I mean,
he's a good football player.
He absolutely is. And I'm very grateful for everything that he's done when called upon. But I don't know that necessarily that means that we're, especially at this point in the season and the way this team's playing, that we should be worrying about scheming and running plays designed for Malik Willis. What?
Does that annoy you, though? Because he's a really good. So this is the problem. And this happened a little bit during the Favre era, too. We can ask Frank Winters about this at 7 o'clock. Scheduled to appear. Frankie Bag of Donuts Winters here on Inside Wisconsin Sports at 7 a.m. There was a lot of chatter back in the day when Doug Peterson or Ty Detmer or Matt Hasselbeck, those were all really good backup quarterbacks under Favre that, based on Favre's Iron Man-ness, were never going to get in.
Yeah.
And all three of those guys went on to start for a different NFL team when they left. Not Matt LaFleur, who was behind Aaron Rodgers?
Flynn to win it.
Flynn.
Yeah.
He went on to start at Seattle.
Mhm.
Seattle paid him a boatload of money.
And then Russell Wilson beat him out.
Yeah, it didn't work. Which is karma, by the way, because he beat out my buddy Brian Braum. So the fact that
Sure.
I digress. That's the problem. We are seeing a guy based on history that is a very good athlete chilling on the bench behind Jordan Love. And no, I'm not talking about Lucas Haversick.
Right. Well, no discredit to his athleticism, his play, his ability to be a good quarterback. If he was a super elite quarterback, though, I feel like other teams would be offering up something that is undeniable, that the Packers would trade him away, knowing that we have Jordan Love. They're not. Other teams aren't making those calls.
Well, but we don't know if they are.
Well, they might be making the calls, but not with those type of offers, is my point.
Do we know that?
They're going with Joe Flacco's. They're going with...
Well, maybe they're not willing to give up what we would like in return.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm guessing if Goody's proven anything to us, that what he wants in return is most likely a first or second round pick. If the Packers have somebody you want, that we want, you're going to pay for it. If you want someone that we don't necessarily believe we need to hang on to, then we'll take a 6th or 7th rounder, typically, Jair Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
There was a defensive back that got traded to the Bills for, I think, a 6th or 7th round pick. Rasul Douglas. Pulled that out of my...
Yep, there you go.
So if you want Malik Willis, come get him. You're just going to have to pay for him. And based on the way he's playing, though, behind Jordan Love, who, let's recap, shall we? Knee last year, thumb to start the season this year. Now it's a shoulder. I think we should probably keep him.
Yeah, job security, feeling pretty good right now.
That I think is what Tommy's talking about, is if we need him to be the backup QB, maybe we just keep him at backup QB. Because what if he goes down?
Justin from Port on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Call me crazy, but we have a $55 million quarterback. Should we just friggin' use him or no? Yeah.
See?
Exactly.
That's the point. And I think that was the question from Packers beat writer Jason Wilde there at the end, going, but you'd have to pull Jordan Love off the field. And Steno's like, yeah.
This I love the participation from the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line early in the morning. Appreciate you guys. The 920 comes in. I honestly don't know the answer to this, but he says, if you have him in for a package or two in a game, the defense has to prepare for a zone read type offense during the week also. So I don't know enough about the scheming and planning process prior to the game of how much them really just mentioning his name in a presser really changes what the Vikings are doing to prepare defensively.
So I don't either, but let me fake like I do for a second, because I think I might be right on this.
Okay.
What they're saying is right now it's fairly easy to play defense against the Packers. It is a 2-shell, soft zone. You need to establish the run. We dare you to throw it.
Yeah.
And that's why the Packers offense is seemingly run, pass, punt. Or run, audible, can, pass. Didn't work. It was a screen pass. Bigger pass, punt.
Right.
What they're saying is if we dabble with putting a guy like Malik Willis in, let's just hypothetically say for the Wildcat, and now we have an option at quarterback that can run just as much as he can throw. Now you don't know what type of defense you need to be in, and they're going to get in their own mentals. And it could be just for a play. But the cool part is if you put Malik Willis in, and now they adjust their defense based on what he brings to the table, he too can pass. He too can hand the ball off. But in an instant, it makes
be
the
careful.
defense...
You're making a case for Malik Willis to be the starter in Green Bay.
Nah, Tommy's still sleeping. We're good.
No, Ron Rome on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line also says, and I think you brought this up last week, what about if you used him as a 2-point specialist?
Well, we talked to Mason about that, and the odds are 1 out of every 2. So kick the ball more than that. However, if we're in a pinch, certainly seems like an option. But if that's an option, then why isn't it an option in other parts of the game?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. I guess really the idea existing does create enough worry if you're the Vikings, to at least acknowledge it. I'm okay with that.
He goes on to say, I still think it's a good idea. He would get some playing time, and it wouldn't interrupt Jordan Love's rhythm. I think that's a good point, too. I think we could sneak Malik Willis in there for a play or two, or they talked about this as well. What if Malik Willis and Jordan Love were on the field at the same time?
Yeah.
And lined up in the old offense where there's a quarterback and two backs. If Joel, you're listening, tell me what that's called. I'm doing my best to research what offenses are and schemes are just to try to have a better idea. I've never watched football that way.
Yeah.
I'm trying, though. We're learning. But long story short, it does pose some opportunity for the Packers. And the second you start talking about pulling Jordan Love off the field, you get smacked in the face, and you're like, what are we doing?
Right.
Why are we doing that? Why are we even talking about that? The most electrifying sound of the day is up next. It comes from the Bucs game last night, a tough loss. It is game one without Giannis. The Giannis-less Bucs did not pull through.
Nope.
There are, between now and the end of the 2 weeks, 7 more games. 2 of those are NBA Cup games. Giannis, if you're listening, get in the cold tub right now.
Yep.
Just,
get loose.
Get the treatment. Figure out what you're going through. And maybe pull yourself out of the game when your groin hurts. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. How do the Packers win this game on Sunday against the Vikings? We'll find out. The voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee, will tell us when he joins 9 to noon at 11 o'clock with Kuhn on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All right, time for the most electrifying sound of the day here on Inside Wisconsin Sports.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Kuzma over to Miles Turner, fires. His big moment as the Milwaukee Bucks gives the Bucks the lead.
What a big shot. A big shot that we all would have loved to have been the dagger, the game winner. That Miles Turner 3 is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. So I'm just curious, and I know I have questions, was last segment, but did we sign Miles Turner to like be a center or as like a 3-point shooter? Because the only thing I've seen him do so far for this team is shoot threes. And I thought, well, Josh, okay, maybe that's not true. Like, how many blocks did he have last night? Go and look at stats.
None.
No, oh, none. Oh boy.
How many
Okay.
times did he shoot last night? Oh, 13 times. That must have been, he must have been in the paint. Yeah, no. 9 of those were threes. He was 5
Nine.
for 13 from the floor last night and 3 for 9 from 3-point land.
He had 10 rebounds, but honestly, in the NBA, I don't even know if that's crazy.
Well, the problem is he's only averaging 6.3 rebounds per game through 15 games this season.
Correct.
Giannis, by the way, was averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. So
Season high 10, by the way, for him last night.
which is
Mhm.
6'11", right?
Yeah.
So is he a bust, Josh?
I don't want to say he's a bust yet, but I'm very confused about, and I don't know if it's the way that Doc is using him or if it's truly just he's a bust. But it's all of these problems. Any problem with the Milwaukee Bucks, a player on the Bucks, becomes more evident and is more in the spotlight when Giannis isn't on the floor. Giannis is so good that it makes everyone else look better.
Mm-hmm.
And the second he's not there, if you have flaws, they will be exposed.
Welcome. Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, you kind of play to your talent when Giannis isn't there to hide your talent or
Right.
lack thereof. I don't think he's a bust either. I would totally put out a poll question today if it wouldn't make us look stupid with the Vikings-Packers game coming up. But it's simple, right? Turner. Miles Turner. We like to do one word. This one could be 2. Miles Turner.
Miles Turner?
And the answers would be yeah, no, or no, yeah.
Yeah. Or
No.
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 No, yeah, no.
What's your vote?
No. Right now it's no. And I hate that. I was hyped. I was hyped like everyone else. But
Yeah,
now I'm sitting here going, was that just to make Giannis happy? Did Indiana know something we didn't? I mean, they sure seemed upset when he left.
here's a question. Is Giannis injury prone?
Yes.
Ugh.
I mean, I don't know how you can deny that. He's had injuries a lot. He was injured in 2021. We thought he was going to come back for the finals.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to come back is a miracle, not even a minor miracle.
He plays through a lot of injuries,
Well, he plays tough ball.
but also needs to not play through a lot of injuries like he did with this groin.
Yeah.
I would really like to ask him if we could talk with him, which right now we can't. Did you feel it earlier in the game? Like Doc said, you grabbed for your groin at least once or twice before the big strain happened and you walked off the court. Because if you're injury prone and you're Giannis and you know that the stats that you bring to these games don't make Malik Willis, don't make Miles Turner the star without you. Come on, bro. Like you gotta.
Well, and that's the thing that I really want to know is, was Miles Turner ever meant to be the star? I don't think so. I think it was always supposed to be a complementary piece to Giannis, but you even
But
then,
Giannis is
that's not
playing
what
the
it
one.
is.
Is Giannis not playing the one in
Yeah,
this offense?
he is.
What's Miles Turner playing, the 3?
Well, that's the problem, right? Like
Right.
he's not supposed to be.
Ryan Rollins is what, the 2, the shooting guard, right? Had 32 last night.
Yeah,
That's
career
fine.
high,
So
I think.
he moves to the 1. I believe he's bringing the ball up now. We have Gary Trent Jr., who should be playing the 2 or the 3, but Miles Turner wants to play the 3. Who do we have a 5? A legit 5?
I mean, it's supposed to be him.
That's the problem.
I don't know. I don't get it. It's frustrating. And I know it's frustrating for all Bucks fans. We've had a bunch of people already this morning. Their questions, and I have questions that we didn't get to, were I have questions. Miles Turner, why? What? Help.
I have questions for Frankie Winters. Bag of Donuts scheduled to appear here on Inside Wisconsin Sports coming up next. What questions do you have for Frankie Winters? Get them in the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Bag of Donuts joins us next here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. When he was in the league, the Packers pretty much split with the Vikings. So let's ask him, is it the Bears or the Vikings, Frank? Who do we hate more? He'll have a good call. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Good morning, Wisconsin. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Bennett, the lone setback. 2 tight ends set up for the Packers, and Favre back to throw his first one. Going deep, has a man open. Andre Rison does the dance in, and Favre got settled down in a hurry.
Here's Andre Rison. He's in the slot. He's going to come up against Otis Smith, and he just makes a good, quick move to the post, just runs right by him. Brett Favre throws a perfect pass. That was maximum pass protection.
Was that Pat Summerall or Frank Caliendo? Pat Summerall, John Madden, Super Bowl 31.
Both might have been Frank Caliendo.
Honestly, they could have been. He does it so well. That's Frank Winters, Wisconsin. Inside Wisconsin Sports on your radio. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, Frankie Winters, a.k.a. Bag of Donuts. Frank, good to see you again, man. How are you?
Good, guys. How you guys doing?
Good morning in Florida. I love the
Good
sun.
morning.
I think we're going to see that today here in Wisconsin. That's kind of cool.
Are you really? Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful day, 85 down here and sunny. So it's been a great week to be down here because I heard the weather's not too good up back home in Chicago.
Got it. Well, we were talking earlier this week, Frank, and this is why we reached out to you to have a chat. When you were with the Packers, 93 to 2000, Green Bay split with the Vikings and obviously dominated the Lions and the Bears. But we talked earlier this week as we prepare for the Vikings to come to Lambeau Field and 5 out of the next 7 games against the NFC North. Is it still the black and blue division, and is the Bears still the biggest rival of the Packers, or should it be the Vikings? What do you think?
I think the Bears are the biggest. I mean, they're all rivalries. They're all rivalries. They're all big games. You have 4 good teams in that division right now. The Lions are still good. The Bears are playing, they're playing great. They're winning games at the end. And it's even though maybe their schedule doesn't show it, but still, I mean, to win in the NFL on every Sunday, to win as many games as the Bears did in a row, it's a pretty amazing accomplishment. So you have to tip your hat to those guys. But it's a tough division, and there's so much parity today in the NFL with the salary cap and guys being moved on free agency or via trade or to the draft. So as you guys could tell, every week. Any team on Sunday could beat anybody. And I hate to say this, you look at the Packers, sometimes the Packers, games you expect them to dominate, they come out flat and the opponents come out, excited to play them and, they kind of take it to them. So if you're not ready to play on Sunday, you're not going to beat anybody in this league, especially at the talent level they have at today's game.
Frank, do you think that from a fan perspective, though, and now not playing, that it was a different feel against the Vikings then, and just the state of Minnesota and the team than it is now?
Well, I mean, the Vikings when I was up in Green Bay, they were a good team. It was always between us and the Vikings, and we always playing for the division title. To win the Central, but they're all rivalries. They're all good teams, and if you take anybody lightly, you're going to get beat. So I think you have to go in there with the mindset. You got to look at it to get to the next level in the NFL. You have to win your division. You have to play well. You try to get home field advantage. Those things help you they propel you to the next level. Having the best opportunity to get to the ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl. And if you can't take business in your own division, take care of business in your own division, it makes it tough to go on the road in the playoffs and win. And especially when you're playing at home, it's I was telling some buddies down here today. It's back in our prime days. I mean, we went 3 or 4 years without losing a game. At home. And if you don't take care of business at home, it's you put yourself in some tough situations to go on the road in January, and it makes it very difficult to get to that next level. So it's a home game. You have to win your home games. There should be a check mark in your box. And if you can't win them at home against teams that don't have winning records, then you're going to have issues later in the year. And then you put yourself in some, win or lose situations in December and January. So this is an important game. You have to win at home with the next, especially when you have to go to Detroit on Thanksgiving Day, which is going to be a tough game. You're still going to play Denver, even though they're in the AFC. They got a tough schedule coming up, and if you can't win your home games, it makes it even more difficult on the road, and it makes it more difficult to the next level in the playoff scenarios.
Frankie, Bag of Donuts winners, joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Somebody just texted in, Frank, on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Does Frank hate Corey Fuller as much as we probably think he should hate Corey Fuller from the Vikings? Your eye okay from 96?
Oh yeah, it's all good. That's kind of a heat of the battle moment. Things happen, guys. Today we probably both would have got suspended, for a week and stuff. But it's part of the game. It's an emotional game. It's a tense moment at certain times during especially big rivalry games, and back then, it was a big rival as we played. I mean, we had some good teams. We had some good battles with guys like John Randall, Henry Thompson. They had Randy Moss and then Jim McMahon was over there, and it was such a rivalry. And some of that was brought on by players because some guys would say things about teams and say it wasn't a rivalry. They're all rivalries, But Corey Fuller, I've talked to him since then. We kind of kissed and made up and stuff like that. It's just part of the game. It's the heat of the moment. Things happen. It's a different game now than it was back then. It was more of a physical game, and guys can't do that. Well, today it's a little more. You got to be more careful what you do and say in football games today.
Greg, it took a little bit of time, but we, at least in my mind, I figured out the identity of this current Packers team has been that they are very inconsistent and they seem to play to their competition. If they have an opponent that does really well, they stay with them. If they are facing an opponent that they shouldn't be doing very well, they stay with them. And I'm just curious, as someone who's played, why does that kind of play happen? Why is it that teams seem to, at times, it at least comes across as they're playing down or up to the team they're playing against?
It's a good question. If I had the answer, I'd be hired by every NFL team to help them with that direction. It starts with leadership. It starts from the top down to the bottom. I mean, as a coach, as a general manager, you have to have your players, and you have to instill in those guys to make sure that they're ready, not to play down to your not to play down to the level you're playing at. Perfect example. You look at the Bears. I mean, the Bears, their schedule is not very tough, and they're not playing great teams, but they're winning, and they're winning at the end of the games. And it's now their confidence level is exceeding, expectations. And it's like, as long as they keep on winning, it's going to get tougher for them to, believe otherwise in December when the Packers have to play them twice. And if you recall last year, the Bears should have beat the Packers twice last year. And, and it starts at the top. I recall Mike Holmgren. First thing he would say if we weren't playing a good team, I mean, I think it was in 1993 that we lost I think it was maybe in the Super Bowl when we lost to the Colts and they were 0-10. And I think we were winning 35-3 at halftime, and they came back and beat us like 41-38. Ever since then, Holmgren would talk about, he would instill in us about not playing, don't take things for granted. You respect your opponents. And sometimes you look at the Packers this year, going into Cleveland and, then tying the Cowboys and then, losing to Carolina at home. I mean, and then, kind of laying a goose egg on, in against Philly at home. It's like I said early in the program, you have to win your home games. And if you don't, you put yourself in bad situations. And the one thing about the NFL, everybody's accountable. You're only guaranteed that year. And And I think with new leadership in Green Bay, we'll see how things go. But I mean, over the last 30 years, it seems like it's not good enough to win the division in Green Bay anymore. Everybody has bigger expectations and aspirations. And, as a player, guys make a lot of money. So you got to be ready to go out there and perform at a high level and do your job, and everything else will take care of itself.
Frankie Winters, Super Bowl champion, Green Bay Packers center from the 90s team, under Favre. Yeah, you were kind of under Favre. I mean, for the most part, he was kind of under you too. It's a little weird. We had Brian Broaddus on the air with us, who was with the Packers back then and now works with sports radio in Dallas and does shows about the Cowboys. When the Packers were playing the Cowboys, we had him on just to preview that game. And he started going down memory lane of driving you guys around as the Uber driver back then. You have any memories of Brian being your Uber driver?
Oh, that's a long time ago. Sometimes I'm still doing pretty good, but I mean, there's so many things, with recalling that it was a lot hazy back then, as we were young kids, and enjoying our NFL careers and living as young, professional athletes. It was awesome, but nothing comes to mind of those memories. Sometimes you try to block some things out, and you try to put things in perspective, and you try to keep some things more private to yourself.
Heard. Got it. We weren't expecting him to tell us anything.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden became an open book. And I'm like, all right, well, Josh and I need to shut up. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of those memories that he brought up, I'm not surprised you don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's got memories about Brett because, when you're the quarterback, that usually happens. But as an offensive lineman, it's just like you just kind of, you go along with the flow and, you just you try to hide in the background and stuff and try to keep out of the public eye and keep to yourself and stuff. But I mean, I hear a lot of stories about me and they're like, oh yeah, remember this 25, 28 years ago? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, some of it may be true, but some of it I don't recall it. So I mean, maybe they expect you to, when you get older, over 60 years old, they don't expect you to remember. So they just make up stories and you're going to say, oh yeah, I remember that, but I don't, if I don't recall, I'll let the person know right away.
Yeah, deal. Frankie Winters, once a legend, always a legend. Good to chat with you for a few minutes here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, my man. Don't be a stranger. If we reach out,
guys.
we'll have you back on. We appreciate you.
Good luck, guys, and hopefully the Packers are going to win home this weekend in Green Bay. They need it.
Amen, buddy.
Agreed.
All right,
we'll see you soon.
Guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Frank.
See ya. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Frankie Bag of Donuts Winters. He doesn't remember.
Yeah, hey, can't fault him for it. Doesn't remember. He doesn't remember it.
I don't believe him.
Yeah.
I couldn't, man, the stories that Brian Broaddus was sharing with us about driving those guys around as their Uber back in the day, that it was nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we should keep asking questions or allow him just to keep talking.
I want to point out that when I asked Frank Winters there the question of, hey, just talk about when teams are playing to their competition, how that gets fixed. I mean, first he joked about if he had the answer. Sure, of course. But then he immediately went into what you and I have talked about. And I felt a little validated. And when he said, yeah, it's all leadership and coaching and it starts at the top. All of the things that we've talked about over the last week or two about this team, our concerns with Matt LaFleur, our concerns with Rich Bisaccia. We talked to Doug Gottlieb on Wednesday, and he said getting rid of a coach midseason is chaos. They'd be running the same plays, XYZ. Frank Winters, who played the game, just went out there. He just joined us. He said it starts at the top. The Bears, right? They weren't playing good opponents, but they were finding ways to win. Now they're going into a tougher schedule, but with a lot of confidence. I think there's something to be said for making a statement and a change if necessary, if it really starts at the top and the teams that are playing up or down to their opponents need better leadership.
When we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports, it's a cause that is incredible. My Cause, My Cleats. It's this weekend and next weekend in the NFL. And which nonprofit or which cause the players are choosing is starting to come out, and it is worth some time here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. What cause would you choose? The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line wide open, 414-677-1250. If you were playing in the NFL and were able to have a set of cleats made for your cause with your cleats, what would it be? There's a really awesome website that we'll spend some time on in the next segment. It's mycausemycleats.org. You can actually go there and search by team, by player, to see what causes they stand for. We'll hear from Matthew Golden and Josh Jacobs coming up next about their cause. We'll share ours if we were in the NFL, and we want to hear yours too. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Frankie Mega Donuts. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. It is my cause, my cleats weekend in the NFL. It's this weekend and next weekend where players get to have a set of cleats designed with their cause on them.
Mm-hmm.
So Matthew Golden and Josh Jacobs came out yesterday with what their cause was. And here is Matthew Golden talking about it's Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Which was my cousin. She died in a car accident going home. And I've always been against drunk driving, and I feel like it'll be special. So, that loss, is definitely still with us. Just a lot of people that go through stuff. And, I feel like for us in the position that we're in, we can support those around us. So, yeah, I feel like it's very special for us to give back.
Always been against drunk driving, as we all should be against drunk driving. Remember that, deer hunters, as you head up north and all of next week. Matthew Golden, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Yeah. Can't do it.
No, be
There's
smart.
another one. Josh Jacobs, he came out with something called Lines of Life. Here's what it means to him.
One part of my family is Filipino and the other side is Cherokee. A lot of times, on the reservations and things like that, it's a high suicide rate. And so I want to shine light on that community. I think my cause, my cleats is very important for the NFL because there's so many things out there that gets a positive light, that get shined on, that need help. It's not always just like, breast cancer. So many other forms of cancer, so many other forms of, homelessness or any type of subject that I think that, may not get as much light as it needs to. So to be able to go out here and represent them, I think that that's a positive thing.
So the question is, Josh, if you were in the NFL and you could choose a cause for your cleats, what would it be? The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. What's yours?
Yeah, so mine would absolutely be the Ronald McDonald House. As a lot of people know, my wife and I both huge supporters of them. Very grateful enough and thankful that we haven't had to use the Ronald McDonald House. But that's the thing about the Ronald McDonald House is that you don't have to use them until you do. It's not something that you really think about. And kind of to the point of what Josh Jacobs was saying there, one of the things I really like about what they do, and if you're unfamiliar, the Ronald McDonald House is, a place for families that have children that are going to be at the hospital for a long time. Well, not everyone lives near those hospitals.
Right.
And so they have to kind of shift their whole lives. They need a place to stay. They need, imagine if you just out of nowhere had to stay at a hotel for a month, 2 months. I mean, that's going to completely flip your life upside down and your finances. And the Ronald McDonald House literally exists to be able to help those families during what is one of the scariest, most terrible times in their lives. Obviously, someone close to both of us and Brian Butch, and what Butchie's gone through has, been familiar with the Ronald McDonald House. So they are an incredible cause. We're both very grateful that they exist and that we're able to help them. And they would 100% be the cause.
Every single one of us, I think, listening to this knows somebody that has used the Ronald McDonald House here in Wisconsin and Children's Hospital. That's unfortunate. And to your point, Josh, it's real. You don't plan on that. You don't know when you may or may not need it. Hopefully never. And unfortunately, that's not the case for so many families. We do a great job of collecting beer tabs for the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah.
My niece from another mother, Eleanor, was at the Ronald McDonald House, or I should say Children's of Wisconsin. So we always collect them from her. And there's so many people here in our community that do it. That's why I drink so much Miller Lite, Josh.
That's exactly. We thank you for it.
It's for a great cause.
And that's the other thing too, is that I tell people all the time, even if you don't go to McDonald's all the time, when you do go to McDonald's, round up, tell them, it's a digital world. You don't have change anymore. That's fine. Tell them, I want to round up for the Ronald McDonald House. Go straight back into Wisconsin.
It does. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. What is your cause? If you were in the NFL and you were going to have some cleats made with the causes that are near and dear to your heart on them, what would it be? The first one I read here, Josh, says, catch a dream. Take kids hunting and fishing, kind of like a Make-A-Wish, only for hunting and fishing.
Oh, that's awesome.
pretty relevant for this weekend with the
Yeah.
9-day gun deer season opening.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
Carrie from Tosa also says, my cleats would be one side diabetes awareness for my son who has type 1 diabetes, and the other side would be for the Heart Association in memory of my dad. Hashtag Go Pack Go.
Yeah, both great.
The one that I would choose, and make sure to get yours in, the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. The one that I would choose is something called Mission of Honor. If you want to learn more, go to missionofhonor.org. So here in Northeast Wisconsin, there's something called the Old Glory Honor Flight. I believe there are 7, 8, 9, something of like this around the state of Wisconsin. They all have a slightly different name. There are these flights that take Vietnam veterans, World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and they fly them to Washington, D.C. for them to essentially have some closure, is the best way to put it. And so many guys that were in Vietnam, guys and gals, came home and were never thank you'd. Were never said, we appreciate your service, or whatever the case may be. And when they go on these flights, they get the opportunity to come home and have the welcome back that they truly deserved back then, even though it was at a different time in a different place with different beliefs. This one, called Mission of Honor, is actually something that is, I think, very rare and very unique. And it has to do with those who served during the global war on terrorism, meaning all the things that went around 9/11 and so on. And so these veterans are taken to New York City to visit their memorial, the 9/11 Memorial, the 9/11 Museum, the Freedom Tower, and the Statue of Liberty, all during a 3-night stay. So many of us, when we think about veterans, always say thanks for your service, right? But we always go to the oldest veterans. And yet there's so many people, Josh, that are your age and my age, our neighbors, our friends, our family, that served in the United States military because of 9/11.
Yep.
And those dudes and those gals are having the same things happen in their life as some of the old guard did, where they came back and haven't necessarily been able to celebrate what they did or settle back into their new life as a civilian. And there's not one of those, potentially those flights that allow them to go and see their memorial on the regular, kind of like these Old Glory Honor flights. And so within the Old Glory Honor flight belief system, a group of people started this Mission of Honor. That's what my cleats would be for. The NFL's My Cause, My Cleats weekend is upon us. We're wondering what your cause would be. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. Josh, there's this sick website.
Yeah.
mycausemycleats.org. You can literally go on there and search your team, your favorite player. They may or may not come up based on some of the luck that I've had searching for specific players on the Packers. Not everybody does the My Cause, My Cleats. But if we want to learn more about which Packers are choosing which cause, do so, mycausemycleats.org.
I want to just also say that, you know, I really, it hit me when we played that of Josh Jacobs and him talking about highlighting so many different causes. And I just want to say, if you have the ability, regardless of what it is, try to help someone, be a part of something. It doesn't have to be even a huge charity. You know, I take a lot of pride in my event that I do every year, Bowling with the Chumps, which we help one family. We help one family that has a kid that's going through a lot. And Trevor, I know that you do a lot of stuff up there in Green Bay with the Flamingos. So, you know, it's just, I just want to tell people that you can make a huge difference, even if it's just to a few people. You know, there are obviously these amazing organizations that are getting highlighted this weekend and next weekend in the NFL, and they're fantastic. But even if you can't help them, you know, doing a little thing, helping a smaller charity, it all goes to the right place, and they need your help too.
I would totally do My Cause, My Hunting Boots. That I can get behind. Is there somebody out there making My Cause, My Hunting Boots? I'm in.
Not yet.
Camouflage, maybe?
There we go. That's an idea.
My Cause, My Hunting Boots. My Cause, My Cleats weekend. Go to mycausemycleats.org and see what your favorite player has for a cause. One more here before we get to break. This person in the says rheumatoid arthritis. It's not just your grandma with some stiff fingers. That's a good point. It's a whole body, every joint, all day autoimmune disease. That's a good one, too. All right, when we come back to football and the Vikings and the Packers. We'll chat with WBAY sports director Dave Schrader, who travels to all of these games near and far. He's dialed in on the Pack. He's dialed in on the Vikings. Let's get his take on what we can expect this weekend, or maybe what we can't expect. It's the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Stay here. Welcome back, Wisconsin, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Make sure to tune in to 9 to noon with Kuhn a little bit later this morning, give or take, I don't know, maybe 11-ish. Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers, joins them to talk about what the Packers need to do to make sure that this one on Sunday does not get away from them. It could get away from them.
No, I don't like that. I don't want. I know that it can, because we've seen that happen way too many times this year.
And we've also seen them play well this year. That's the
I know.
difficult part. We talked about how the Packers lost 5 of 6 last year in the NFC North. The only one winning was the blocked field goal in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know and didn't remember, I guess, that we only lost by 2 to the Vikings both times we played them.
Yes, both. Well, the final score was close, but in those games, the Vikings were up big both games, and the Packers were clawing back, but then couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, don't call it a comeback.
That's
Before
right.
we jump on with our guy Dave Schrader, we want to read just a few more of your causes. If you were going to be in the NFL, mycausemycleats.org. It's My Cause, My Cleats weekend. Matthew Golden shared his. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Josh Jacobs shared his. Lines of Life. And you are sharing yours with us as well. Here's one more quick before we jump to Dave. My Cleats would be for kids. It's Kids Chance of Wisconsin, which raises scholarship money for kids whose parents have been killed or permanently disabled in a work injury. Greg in the Falls. That's a good one for sure.
That is.
Our guy, Dave Schrader, WBAY Sports Director, is joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Thank you for staying with the tradition, Dave, of wearing a hat that has to do with your journeys to all of the national parks that you have been to. That one is Banff.
Yeah, Canada, eh? It's a beautiful place. Don't go there. It's already crowded enough.
I just, it still blows my mind that all the national parks and even international parks have hats.
Oh yeah.
As a huge hat lover, it's like,
they got some good ones.
Yeah, I'm proud of them.
Hey, Dave, somebody wanted to know why you don't wear a bow tie with us on what is known for your life as Bow Tie Friday.
Well, part of it's I woke up 15 minutes ago, and
There's
helped
that.
my daughter out the door for school.
That's a fair reason. That's a
probably the main
valid
reason.
reason.
And that wasn't the case yesterday morning. Before we jump into Packers talk, you're doing what are you doing? A training run? How far did you run yesterday morning?
Like 6 miles, but I work till like 10:45 at night. But I've got this new group of friends who like to do crazy things, in my opinion, like run at 5 a.m. I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yeah,
but it worked yesterday somehow.
You might need a new group of friends.
Yeah, choose your friends better.
Oh man!
All right. This should not be a game that we need to worry about, Dave. The Vikings coming into Lambeau Field this weekend. The Vikings not good. The Packers sometimes good, sometimes not good. And yet here we are as fans and those that cover the team going, we should win this game, no problem, right?
Oh, I think Brian Flores' defense could cause havoc for that. You know how inconsistent the O-line has been? I think they were better last week in New York, but I would never call this Brian Flores-led defense not good. I think they're very dangerous. I heard you guys talking as I was waiting to come on here about how they did handle the Packers twice last year. I think the reason that this game feels comfortable for fans is probably the J.J. McCarthy effect. The quarterback play in Minnesota has not been stellar. It has not been what they got last year out of Sam Darnold.
So one of the big topics we've talked about today is the decision on, as Packers fans, what are you more concerned about? The Packers beating the Packers or the Vikings beating the Packers? And I know a lot of people would probably lean towards the Packers beating the Packers, but the teams that the Packers have lost to this season, after or tied with, have then gone on to have a few good games afterwards. The Vikings coming into this game, is there concern in your mind about just the Vikings playing well against the Packers in comparison to the Packers playing down to the Vikings?
I would say the Vikings have had the most success of any team against Matt LaFleur in his tenure. I think that they are a desperate team that is not out of it, but if they lose this week, they pretty much are. You're going to get their best shot. On each side of the ball, I think the Packers offense can have success if the O-line communicates well, picks up the blitz schemes from different angles. I think Jordan Love against the blitz can be really, really, really good. We saw it against this Vikings team on New Year's Eve 2023. Last year, the first game, if you recall, was Love's first game back from the knee injury in Brazil. He threw it nearly 50 times. It's easy to say play with the lead, it's easier, but it is easier for everyone involved. If you don't have to chuck it 50 times, that's good. The Vikings defense, 10th overall, 7th against the pass, more susceptible to the run. So does Josh Jacobs play? I think that's a big factor. In points allowed, I forget where they rank there, but if you can run the ball, build an early lead, do well against the blitz, I think the Packers can take care of business. Because on defense, I trust the Packers defense to, at most, give up 20 points to J.J. McCarthy. At most. That's how I see it. Even with Justin Jefferson, Speedy Naylor, and Addison as well.
Getting ahead early is everything, and it's not something that the Packers have been able to do this season. We talk about what a complete game looks like, knowing that there are 3, but I think 4 phases. One,
Wait, they exist?
offense. Oh, yeah, right? Exactly.
Fair.
No. So can the Packers get out to an early lead is the question here. They've not necessarily shown us that they can do that until they do. And then it's like, oh, you do got it in you. So is that something that is going to make or break this game? Is the Packers scoring early and taking a lead?
No, I don't think it'll make or break the game. I think it'll make or break the stress levels of you guys watching, and the team trying to eke it out. Like, if you can build an early lead, I have no doubt that this team can look good in winning. If you don't take the early lead, if you're playing around with your food, so to speak, then you get what you deserve at the end, and that's a stress test, and you either make the plays down the stretch or you don't.
Yeah, I think that's a super fair point. From a fan perspective, Dave, this is something else we've talked about. The rivalry for the Packers. Everyone says it's the Bears. Number one rival is the Bears. But with win-loss records, the Vikings over the last 10, 15 years have definitely been more competitive. Where do you fall on who the Packers' big rival is right now?
So this is my 14th season covering the team, and hands down, the Vikings rivalry has been the one that's meant the most in the standings, in terms of competitive games, in terms of excitement level over the last 13 and a half seasons. The Bears historically, there's just something about that rivalry that aesthetically is pleasing to me, that the histories and all that interwoven. But the Bears have been down for many years before this season. So, the Vikings one is the one that's the most fun. But I still think the most storied and most legendary would be the Bears one, just maybe not of recent ilk.
WBAY Sports Director Dave Schrader joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. It is My Cause, My Cleats weekend, this weekend and next weekend in the NFL. Dave, we've shared ours. We've asked our audience to share theirs. What would your cause be if you were in the NFL and had the chance to get a set of cleats made for you?
Ooh, I think I'd go with 2, either Convoy of Hope that helps reach people in disaster-ridden areas or impoverished areas of the world, or Assemblies of God Ministries to help reach the lost.
Awesome. There's a lot of really good ones still coming in, Josh. We'll get to these as the next hour approaches. Is there anything to hang your hat on with using Malik Willis in more opportunities than just backup quarterback? I'll hang up and listen.
I don't think so. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. I think you may get a gaping run here, a gaping run there. I'm informed by watching what the Saints did with like Drew Brees and Taysom Hill over the years. And you had some really cool highlights with Taysom Hill, right? Because he could throw the ball really well, just like Malik can throw the ball. But at the end of the day, where did the Saints go? They didn't win a Super Bowl doing it. I know they got robbed by the Roby Coleman pass interference that should have been called in 2018. I think Malik Willis is a great backup. I think Jordan Love, as a $55 million man, needs to be on the field for every play because his affinity at times for throwing deep and making something out of nothing. I think that upside's greater than a package in which he's off the field or maybe split out wide on a motion, then can be jammed and hit by a defender in a legal fashion. I just don't think it's worth the squeeze. Unless
we
the
wrap up
offense
this-
is stuck in the mud and you need something, but I don't think they're
Well,
stuck.
Yeah,
in the
hopefully it
mud.
doesn't get to that point.
define
Yeah,
mud
I don't
because
think it
they've
will.
been stuck a time or two this season
Well,
already.
I think execution has been lacking. I'm not going to be an apologist and carry their water, but if you catch interceptions and you catch passes last week, that's like a 40-10 game, and I'm not overreacting to that. 2 of the 3 Giants touchdown drives came after dropped interceptions. The 3 and out in the second half was after a Watson. Watson had a great game. I don't want to give him a drop there, but it did hit both hands. The defender kind of held down his left arm to make it harder, but he could have made the grab. And Romeo Doubs had a terrible day, even though he's got great hands.
As we wrap our convo with you, Dave Schrader, WBAY Sports Director, give us your prediction of this game. 5 out of the next 7 are in the division, meaning the division is completely up for grabs somehow with all of these games heading into the final stretch of the season. What says you about the way this game is going to shake out on Sunday?
I don't have a great feeling about it. I just don't.
Hmm.
I don't. 23-20 Packers in underwhelming fashion, I guess. I just don't have a
You're
great
smart,
feeling
man.
about it.
You're a smart, man.
No.
Why would you have a good feeling? This Packers team has made you sit on the edge of your seat and be stressed for every game so far this season after week 2.
Entertainment.
It is entertainment.
I would love to be entertained by a 40-3 blowout
All
by the
right.
Packers.
You and my father-in-law, he's going to the game with my family this week. If it's not 40-3, he's angry after every game, even if it's a win. It's kind of funny.
Even though those games, when you go to them, those are the most boring games to be at. I mean, so it's funny because we're watching games that are close, which makes us excited and eager as fans. Yet we don't believe these games should be close, which is why we're annoyed and angry fans most of the time.
You know,
before we
double-edged
let
sword.
you, yeah, it is. Well, welcome to Wisconsin sports. This is nothing new to you, my friend. My buddy Joe wants you to know before we hang up with you, Dave, that friends that make you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and run 6 miles are not friends. So
that's true.
He's got a point. He does.
Trying to have your back. All right, Dave Schrader, WBAY Sports Director. As always, Dave, thanks for jumping on with us. Maybe we'll chat with you next week upon a victory from the Packers against the Vikings, then a short week and a short turnaround against the Lions. We'll chat with you soon, bud.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave Schrader, good cause is there for his cleats as well. Get yours in if you haven't shared it with us already. It's a My Clause, My Cleats weekend. My Cause, mycleats.org to see what player in the NFL on your favorite team, hopefully that's the Packers, is wearing for their cause this weekend. Dave Schrader, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. According to my notes, that's 2 guests down and still 2 to go.
Still 2 to go. 1 hour and 2 guests.
Guest-a-palooza on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. It is no surprise to the majority of Wisconsinites that this weekend is the start of the 9-day gun deer season. It's been this weekend and the week of Thanksgiving for a really long time, and it is a tradition in Wisconsin unlike any other. And we know that not everybody participates. On this very radio station, raise your hand if you've never hunted.
Ooh.
That's
Ooh.
you. Yep.
Ooh.
It's not me. And it's not so many of us listening to this radio station across the state of Wisconsin on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Good morning to all of you in Green Bay and the Fox Valley on 99.7 FM WNFL. That's where I am. Good morning, Milwaukee and the greater Milwaukee metro area on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan there in Milwaukee. That's where Josh is.
Hi.
Welcome and good morning to our friends on 93.9 The Game in Wausau and 710 The Game in Duluth, Superior, the great Northwoods of Wisconsin, which is where so many of us will be headed either this weekend or next weekend. Do you know what they call next weekend in deer camp lingo, by the way?
No.
It's the second week of deer camp and all that. No, nothing.
Nope.
We're going to play you a song at the top of the next hour called The Turdy Point Buck.
Okay.
And this is the first time that Josh has ever heard this song.
Correct.
Which is going to blow my mind. And hopefully it blows yours too. If you're headed to deer camp this morning, shoot us a text and send us a picture. Do we get pictures on this?
You got to send them to our socials at On Air Josh, at Trevor Thomas IW, at Inside With Sports,
and at WI Sports Radio. You pick, take us all, and send us a picture of the trail camera deer that you're after over the next 9 days. I love that. There are always these bucks that are just gallivanting around, minding their own P's and Q's. Meanwhile, we've had surveillance, and we're coming for you to feed our families and to put your head on our wall. That is so Wisconsin.
It sure is.
I wonder if other countries look at us and go, wait. You put the dead animal's head on your wall?
No, come on. They put different animal heads on their wall, lions and, whatever else.
And sometimes on their plate. And it's weird.
That's true.
This is for a great cause, the Wisconsin 9-day gun deer season. We're going to talk to the Wisconsin DNR whitetail deer specialist, Jeff Pritzel, when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, statewide on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Who's on the road? Where are you headed? What does deer camp look like for you guys? Get them in. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I hunt. Josh, not so much.
Boy, all losses hurt, but, especially when you're just that close and getting into overtime and playing without your superstar. Well, it was tough to fend off a 54-point game by Tyrese Maxey. A new career high for him, the 54 points. The third most in the NBA game this year.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough for the Bucks last night. The Giannis-less Bucks, Josh.
Could you say that Maxey went deer hunting?
Oh, gross.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Dad jokes for days.
Oh boy, I did it.
Moving on. Inside Wisconsin sports. That's funny. It was kind of funny, and it was in my head too. As we're starting to talk about the deer
come on,
season.
I gotta transition to somehow.
Yeah, nicely done. Inside Wisconsin sports with Trevor and Josh, statewide on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Here we go, Josh. It is the 9-day gun deer season upon us in the state of Wisconsin. People are texting in on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250. People are on their way to deer camp, listening to us on the air and online on the Odyssey app. You can find us there as well. Joining us now, the Wisconsin DNR whitetail deer specialist. And we have to play this song for you, Jeff. It's the 30-point buck, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's required. Yeah, that's cold. It's cold up there. All right. Yeah, no, he can't. All right, Josh. We join Jeff Pritzel, the Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, it's tomorrow at this time. There's going to be over 500,000 of us out there.
That's okay. Pause. Let's start there.
Yeah.
As of tomorrow, Josh, you may or may not know that Wisconsin has the second largest army in the world. Is that right, Jeff?
Well, related to the size of the state, yeah, we're right up there. Doggone Texas, just because of the size of the state, they get to outnumber us. But if you think about hunters per square mile, density on the landscape, yeah, nobody can keep up with us.
Wild. It's absolutely wild. So as you know, Jeff, I'm a hunter, been one my entire life. My guy Josh, not so much.
No,
and
not against it, just haven't done it.
There are a lot of people listening that are hunters. We have proof. Our talk and text line is exploding with people on their way up to deer camp. And we have people that don't hunt. So to those that maybe don't have this tradition in their family here in the state of Wisconsin, Jeff, how do we describe what deer hunting means to this state?
Oh, man, deer hunting, it's just part of our cultural fabric. It's part of our history. It got blended into Wisconsin's history, going over 100 years ago with the great logging era, and what were logging camps back in the late 1800s, early 1900s became deer camps after the logging era was done. And so, we've got 100 years of history, so multi-generational. There are families in Wisconsin that venison is their primary protein. I mean, they don't get beef. They don't, they're eating very little. They're living on venison, and people are still doing that.
Wow. I mean, I'm very familiar with venison, and I didn't know it was like, that was it though. It was
that's it,
literally like, yeah, no, this is when we go and we get the food for the year.
So,
right.
Josh,
there's
somebody
people that are out there.
Yeah, there are people that are up there doing that exact same thing. Sorry about your connection just a little bit on your end, Jeff. So if we jump on each other, just know that there's a slight delay on your side. Just letting you know. Technical.
Okay,
always
thanks.
the technical, Josh.
Yep,
always.
Always. There's got to be something. All good.
So, Jeff, you've been with the Wisconsin DNR a really long time. And there are people listening. And I know you well enough to say this, so please know that this isn't a critique. But the DNR gets a bad rap here in Wisconsin. So how do you, as the DNR whitetail deer specialist, combat some of the criticism that the State Department gets, i.e. somebody just texted in and said, I used to go to deer camp in the Northwoods all the time, but there's no deer up there anymore. So what's the scoop there?
So first thing is I don't take the approach of trying to combat it, because it's real, and not to dismiss the fact that when you've got 600,000 people doing something, if I had a 90% satisfaction rating, which I don't have a 90% satisfaction rating, but if I did, even if that's 60,000 people that are not happy. And so you'll never be even in our record harvest years. And so the reality is deer are unevenly distributed on the landscape. They're constantly changing within the year and over the years, and different parts of the state have their day in the sun. And that doesn't stay constant over time, but we as deer hunters, we lock in to our early experiences that we really liked, and we want it to stay that way forever. And it doesn't. And part of hunting is adapting and learn and changing, but I'm guilty of it too. I've got my favorite deer hunting spot, and I'll go there for 5 years. And I shot a deer there 5 years ago, and I know it's going to happen again, but I haven't seen a deer in 5 years in that spot. Yeah. It's maybe time to find a different spot. And so I can relate to those experiences. And so when people say, yeah, it's just not what I expect or want, it's not, but it's just a matter of the statistics. I mean, the reality is, and yeah, people up north would say it's not like it used to be. Well, it's not, but it's still, we are killing deer at the same rate that we were prior to the bubble that we had back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And we're doing it with about half as many hunters. So the hunters up north right now, by that measure, are twice as successful as they were in the 1980s. But it's all relative. And when we talk about deer, we're talking about it on a very large scale. So I'm talking about deer in a county, or deer in a deer management unit, or deer in the state. But there's always embedded within those areas people that are trying to scratch out their deer hunting experience, and God bless them for being out there and trying, but they're just not in the best spots. Not all places are created equal. So you're always going to have that aspect of people that want it to be different, want it to be better, and that's just part of the nature of what we're dealing with.
The Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist, Jeff Pritzel, joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Jeff, you shared with me, and I found a news article on it online. This is your last deer season as the Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist. You're retiring. Good for you, man. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. And it's not because I'm hopefully, we'll see what happens after this week. Hopefully I can go out on a high note, but you will never, we won't know. It's probably better to talk about it before the deer season than after the deer season, right? But It's been 35 years, not all as the deer specialist. And I'm sure some people are listening and saying, good riddance, but I've really enjoyed it. And I will miss it a lot. I'll miss the people part of it. This is the part I really enjoyed. I never liked it as a deer specialist, because there's a lot of people in the state that know a lot more about deer than I do. But after 35 years, I know deer hunters, and I know the social side of it, and I know the administrative and all the government bureaucracy that goes along with it. And that's the part that I kind of try to help shepherd through. And I'll miss the people. But I'm going to spend more time with the deer in the future.
Good. Let us know what you see. Give us the update anyway, still. You talked about the tradition, Jeff, and how many families have had this in their family for generations that go all the way back to when the Northwoods and the logging deer camps first started. And there's a lot of kids nowadays that aren't growing up in hunting households like I did or like you did. My boys, 14 and 15 years old, are hunting this year for the first time. They went through the hunter safety education program during the winter time this year. And I know there's guys listening going, boy, they could have started, a lot earlier. Yeah. If you met my boys, you wouldn't have trusted them with the gun either. So we're doing it right and trying to be safe. But are you finding that as well, Jeff, in that there's a lot of families that just don't have those hunters coming up? You mentioned it. There's half the amount of hunters that we have today than we did in the past.
Yeah, especially up north in terms of, the generation, my generation and generation before, you went deer hunting, you went up north because that's where the action was. And there still is action up there, but now the action's even better in the southern part of the state. But as it relates to recruitment and kids getting into hunting, the reality is there's so many more options on their plate to spend their free time, and it's just competing with so many other things. We're just not bringing as many kids in as this is their optimal or preferred choice of how they're going to spend their free time. There's other things competing with their time. And so I live that myself. My son, both my kids, I exposed to hunting at the age as you are. They're in their 20s now. Neither of them are hunters. They tried it, but they didn't catch that fever, that I always had, because they've got just so many other options and things that they like to do. Now they love to eat wild game. My daughter, will eat the wild game I harvest, and she does not care for, like, I remember one time we fed her a nice steak and she was like, oh, this is soft and mushy, and she didn't like it. She was like, where's the venison? So, I take pride in that part of it, but but we are also seeing a lot of what we call adult onset hunters, people that didn't grow up in hunting, but as adults, they're like, this idea of, I want to be more connected to my food source. I want to harvest and see food being harvested sustainably. And I acknowledge deer hunting is a win-win. It's good for the environment. It's good for the deer, and it's good for wise. I want to get into this. And so we're actually seeing a lot of people coming into deer hunting later in life. And that's really cool.
Jeff Pritzel, the Wisconsin DNR on Inside Wisconsin Sports, the white-tailed deer specialist. We're getting up to speed on the 9-day gun deer season starting here in Wisconsin first thing tomorrow morning. Jeff, we have a couple of questions on our Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. As we wrap up our convo with you, let me ask you a few of these questions, would you please?
Sure.
Could you ask this guy, Jeff, his recommendation on hanging a deer with the temperatures this weekend? It's around 30 at night, but in some areas 50 during the day. What's safe and what's not? Yeah,
when you're hitting that 50 degrees, to me, is kind of that benchmark of, if it's going to be warmer than that, you need to get that animal, cool down faster. That's the whole key. I mean, a lot of people and traditional people would hang the deer for as long as part of the aging process. What more people are doing now is getting that deer processed, get it in the cooler, get it in the freezer right away. You can do the aging on the back end before you're going to eat it. Think ahead, pull it out of the freezer a week before you're going to consume it, and put it in the fridge for a week and age it on that end, rather than trying to age it the uncontrolled temperature changes that we have on this end. So yeah, we're pushing especially in southern Wisconsin, we're pushing that envelope of whether it's okay to hang it for a long time.
Back to North Wisconsin for this next question. Based on the number of deer up there and the lack of successful hunting that's happened over the years, how do you combat the argument of, I'll just say, predators?
Yeah, so that's a historical thing that's always been with us, and we look at natural predators as our competition, right? That they off the landscape is one less for us, but when the dust settles in the end, a certain number of deer are going to perish every year. And they're going to perish of one thing or another. And if they don't perish from predation, they're going to perish from starvation, or they're going to perish because, during the hunting season. And that's where it comes down to people wondering, is the number of animals that die, does that negatively impact my chances during the hunting season? And the reality is there's been times where that's true, but bottom line in the north, winter is the real deciding factor. And the predation that happens is related to whether it's been a severe winter or a mild winter. So in the severe winters, the scales are tipped in the predators' favor, and in the mild winters, they're tipped in the deer's favor. And we're coming off of 2 mild winters. So, we're seeing population growth as it relates to whatnot, but it's always been there. It's always been a concern. It always will be. But there are other factors that are really the drivers that determine how many deer we see when they're out there. But predators is a tangible thing we can try to put make it black and white and say, there's a cause and effect relationship. And if there were less predators, there'd be more deer. It's way more complicated than that. And it's a very interesting discussion, but that's a whole hour radio show unto itself.
Yeah, so true. Jeff Pritzel, the Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist. Jeff, I'll leave you with this. The 920 texted in just now and said, I appreciate the DNR. It's not their fault. What a great way to end the conversation with you, and what a great way for you to end your career after the 9-day gun deer season comes to a wrap. We appreciate you jumping on with us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Thanks again for taking my call/text. It's good to see you again, man, and all the best in the future.
You bet, Trevor. Good luck to you, and good luck to your kids. I hope they have a great experience this weekend.
Yeah, well, there's cell phones, so they will have no problem.
As long as they stay charged.
Yeah. Jeff Pritzel,
Thanks,
the Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist, joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. There's a lot of hunters in our state that are listening right now. And Josh, I don't know if you know some of the statistics, but the economic impact of the sport that is hunting here in the state of Wisconsin is billions.
Yeah.
B with a B, massive.
It's very big. And then just number one thing for me that I tell all my friends that go out just every year, most important, just be safe.
Be safe. What is it? Tab K? All you hunters out there, Tab K? Look it up if you don't know what that means. It's good to get familiar with that. It is the 4 rules of safety when it comes to hunting everywhere, and especially here in the state of Wisconsin. All right, back to hunting Vikings. We're going to talk with our guy, Pack-A-Day podcast host, Andy Herman, when we come back. He'll have the nitty-gritty. If we've had some good conversations about football so far this morning, it is Andy that will know exactly what we should be able to expect, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we'll check in with him next. The Pack-A-Day podcast, Andy Herman, coming up on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Back to hunting Vikings. You like that, how I ended that last one?
Yeah, that was good.
I'm grateful to Jeff Pritzel from the Wisconsin DNR joining us to chat a little hunting. It's not a sport that a sports radio station would typically talk about, yet this weekend, it's the biggest sport in the entire state.
True.
And there's a really big sport happening here in Green Bay with the Packers and the Vikings, and we check in with our guy, Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day podcast, joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Whoa, Andy, do we shave our playoff beard already? What's going on over there?
This is pure laziness. For anyone that follows me with any regularity, it just gets to a certain point, and then I could trim and do everything like that, but that takes a whole lot of work. So you just nuke it and then let it grow back naturally.
I think you look great, Andy.
If I nuked my beard, I would be nuking my marriage. That is a joint decision. I'm not allowed to make that one on my own.
I hate how this looks, for the record. I need more than this, but it's just pure laziness where it's so much easier just to get to this, shave it all off, and then just let it go naturally.
Well, you know what you have? One chin. That's why I'm never shaving my beard, because underneath this thing does not look like that.
Oh,
chin.
Please stop.
It doesn't. I'm telling you. You want me?
I'm talking about multiple chins over there. 6'8", 160 pounds.
Josh, now you know future bets. Any future bets is shaving the beard. That
that's
he's
right.
got to put on the
it's
line.
not. My wife will kill you both. It ain't happening. Andy Herman, the Pack-A-Day podcast. All right, Andy, I hate that this weekend doesn't feel good yet. What's it going to take for us to feel good? And don't give me we got to win by 25. What do we need to look like in order for us to feel good?
The only way this fan base is going to feel good is if they win the Super Bowl. So we've got a ways to go. There's nothing else is my take on this. No, I just think they need to stop playing two teams every Sunday. The team that they're playing in themselves, they've got to stop making the stupid mistakes and just be locked in and focused. The other teams in the NFL, for the most part, are good too. They're going to cause some issues. Listen, if Andrew Van Ginkel this week forces a offensive lineman into a holding penalty because of an amazing play that Andrew Van Ginkel makes, so be it. If, Romeo Doubs is down the field and, Isaiah Rodgers or somebody, jars the ball loose because they made an aggressive play on it, understandable. Those things are very normal things that are going to happen in the course of the NFL. What you can't have is, depending on the person analyzing it, 7 drops on offense, 4 dropped interceptions, 2 missed extra points, a bunch of penalties, and just all of these mistakes that are just your own fault. Not in the heat of the moment, combat related mistakes, just your own damn mistakes. So that to me is the start of it, is can you get through a game where you're not beating yourselves throughout the course of it? And then of course, on top of it, can you play good complementary football? Can we see this defense look the way that we would like it to look? This offense play, a little bit more balanced. I think those are the things that we're looking for. For a lot of people, it's not just, all right, how did they win the game? Like, did they win the game, or did they win by so many points? It's, did they play a brand of football that looks like it can win you games in January? And if the answer is no, then I think there's going to be a continued level of disappointment. And if the answer is yes, even if it's a 3-point win, but you're like, that was a great brand of football, they looked fantastic. I know it was only a 3-point win, but I can see the vision there. I can see proof of concept. I think there would be a little bit more, level-headedness and happiness, even if it was only a 3-point victory or something like that.
Andy, Jordan Love said there's no concern with his shoulder and that everyone should not worry about it. You worried at all about the injury playing any role in this game against the Vikings?
No, but the only thing I would say is, how susceptible is it to, any sort of, dislocation or any further injury if he falls on it again. Now, I think the good news is I don't know if it's good news, but we saw last game after the injury, Dexter Lawrence, 340 pounds of Dexter Lawrence fell on that shoulder pretty hard at one point in the game, and he was able to get up and not have it be an issue. So hopefully that's a sign that this is just a pain tolerance thing for Jordan, and that this isn't something that is going to be like a, in and out and, oh my God, I've got to get it rewrapped or whatever. I'm sure it's bothering him. I'm sure it's that part of it's an issue. If anything, maybe it forces him to slide down rather than taking that similar sort of hit again. But based on the way he played in that game, coming out of the injury, and then again, having some hits that he was able to get right back up from, I'm mostly confident. I'm just, more worried of, is there any risk of re-injury or further injury with it?
Andy, we played the list of opportunities, figure quotes, that you rattled off on Monday. We played them for Josh on Tuesday when he came back from vacation, and it was a plenty.
Yeah.
As you watched the Packers this week try to recover from a game like that, what are the two things that they need to focus on in order to, I don't know, catch the ball?
Yeah, to me, it's just maybe this is a cop out, so my apologies, but it's just all the attention to the detail, all attention to detail stuff. It's, I talked about this week a play where you've got two wide receivers in the same space down the field. One's supposed to be intermediate, one's supposed to be deep, and then you've got the tight end and the running back running into each other, which forces you not to have your check down, and it takes out your blocker who was supposed to take out the defensive end on the play. And then, of course, you have a drop ball on the play as well. Even Jordan, after avoiding all of that, threw a perfect ball to Romeo, and he still drops it. So it's route running. Where are you supposed to be? Are you cutting your route off at the right point? It's, not running into teammates in route. We've seen that way too much this year. It's catching the ball when it comes your way. There's not anything that even like I could say like, oh, if LaFleur only did this, or if the team. You just have to be locked in and focused. The excuse of being the youngest team in the league is gone. You've been to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. This is really your third time together with this team. You've added pieces like a Micah Parsons. To me, it just is locking in and playing a playoff brand of football. It's week 12. Some of these mistakes that we're seeing and the amount of mistakes that we saw a week ago, like if that happened in week 1, you're somewhat concerned, but you're like, all right, it's week 1. They don't play preseason. Maybe there's a factor there. This is week 11 now going into week 12, and it just has to get cleaned up in some real way.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. We talked to Frank Winters earlier in the show, and I kind of asked him about that and the up and down play to kind of match your opponent that we've identified this Packers team is. And he said that it comes down to leadership, which we've talked about on this show as being a problem, not only with Matt LaFleur, but with Rich Bisaccia and everything going on with special teams as well. Are you concerned more, and I hate that I'm phrasing it this way, but with the kicking situation in special teams or something different with special teams?
Yes, I'm I will forever. I said this before the season. I will forever not trust Packers special teams. I will give Daniel Whalen his flowers. He's been fantastic. I just listen until I get to the end of the season and you get to it and they didn't make a catastrophic mistake at the end and you look at the rankings and they're like, oh, they're a top 10 special teams. I will gladly applaud and give the Packers special teams their flowers. Until then, I have zero trust in them whatsoever. As far as like the coaching and, just whether it's Bisaccia, LaFleur, or things like that, and sort of the leadership aspect of it. One of the things that I do wonder about a little bit is, when Matt LaFleur came in, it was very clear, and I think it's still kind of clear to this day, that his ideal brand of coaching is that this is a player-led team. He wants there to be that leadership council. He wants the veterans in the room to have a say. He wants this to be a team that is led by the players. And I do think when you come into the league and you have an Aaron Rodgers, a Mercedes Lewis, an Aaron Jones, a Kenny Clark, a David Bakhtiari, a Corey Linsley, we can go on and on. You've got all these incredible veterans in the room. That probably works pretty well when you're the youngest team in a row for 3 consecutive years, and you do still have a Josh Jacobs, a Xavier McKinney, you still have some really strong leaders in this team, Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft, etc. But I do wonder if he needs to say more of like for this team, and just based on some of the mistakes that we've seen of like, yeah, we can get to being a player-led team a little bit more. But right now, based on what we're seeing, this needs to be a real coach-led team. This needs to, like, I need to be all hands on deck in some of the player-led stuff. Maybe it needs to go away a little bit. And I'm not there in the room every day to say, maybe he is already doing that. I don't know for sure, but I do know in the past he's preferred a little bit more of that player-led leadership style. And maybe right now it needs to be a little bit more Matt-led.
Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL, at Pack a Day Podcast. Andy Herman joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Josh, when I was public address announcing for GB basketball for 7 years, once a game, I would forget that I was announcing and catch myself just watching basketball and be like, oh, crap, like I got to talk.
Yeah.
That just happened to me listening to Andy talk about the Packers. It's so easy just to sit and take it all in.
Yeah, it's very true.
What do the Packers need to do, Andy, to start quick on offense? And score a touchdown. Got it. That's why we ask you, though, because you don't cop out most of the time. And give me a short answer like that. But what is it about this offense that can't get started quickly?
I wish I had a perfect answer for that. I do think that they've got to get into a little bit better rhythm and tempo early on in the game. I understand that at some point, Jordan Love talked about this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it was me that asked him or somebody else that asked him of like, hey, I think it was me. Do you want to see, would you like to play with more tempo and have more autonomy at the line? And he said something to the effect of, I'd be for it, but it depends on the situation. He's like, if the defense has just been playing a lot and we go 3 and out because we went really fast and then they've got to go right back on, that doesn't help anybody out either. At the beginning of the game, when you get, especially if you receive the ball, your defense hasn't been on the field. Just go out there, get in tempo, let Jordan kind of throw the ball around a little bit. And I think also just getting him an easy completion early. Jordan's a little bit of a rhythm passer as well. And he kind of needs to see one sometimes go through the net, before he starts to heat up. When we saw the game against Pittsburgh, where all of a sudden he, completes 20 some passes in a row. So getting him some easy completions, and then just getting a little bit more tempo and rhythm on offense right away. Other than that, I wish I had an answer because it does feel like they've come out flat. It does feel like something Matt's been good at in the past of developing game plans for early in the game to set them up for success. It feels like those have not worked so far this year, that they have not been really good early in games and on early drives. So maybe just a little bit better game planning as well, but they've got to figure out a way, because this defense has had to do a lot of heavy lifting in even or behind games. And if the opposing offense is not predictable, and they can do run or pass at any given time, and that puts so much more stress on your defense. When your offense is going out and scoring right away, you put the other offense almost on tilt of like, oh, we got to go and score points right away. It makes it so much easier for your defense. So I think if the offense could get out to that early start, I'm always a proponent of taking the ball, maybe not so much right now with the way the offense is struggling on those opening drives, but in general, take the ball, get some points, and start putting some pressure on that opposing offense.
Andy, I've been, for the last couple of days at least, I was like, man, the Packers are playing the Vikings. Why aren't there more storylines with this? It was kind of like we've been focusing so much on the Packers and the problems happening within 1265, but the rivalry between the Packers and the Vikings is really overshadowed by the Bears, and I'm not sure it should be, especially over the last 10, 15 years. The record for the games between the Packers and the Vikings is way more similar than the Packers and the Bears. So the whole not our rival argument towards the Bears has existed a lot more. Why doesn't that transition though from the field into the fan base? Because if it seems like any fans we've been talking to this week have said, yeah, there's definitely more juice and storylines with the Vikings, but the rival's the Bears.
Yeah, to me, just personally, I'm with you. I think the rival, listen, the tradition is the Bears. The rival is the Vikings. Even with the Bears, maybe not with the fans. The fans are an interesting, case study with the Bears. But even the Bears, it feels like there's at least a little bit of like respect and tradition with that rivalry. Whereas with the Vikings, it's just pure hatred. Like, my kids aren't allowed to wear purple. They can wear any other color they want. They're not allowed to wear purple. So that is, I think, a little bit of a difference there of just, it does feel like there's a little bit more just pure unadulterated hatred with the Vikings. I think for this week, why it's not as much of a storyline is because the Vikings are bad. They're the 4th place team in the NFC North. JJ McCarthy is bad. They're not making any noise in the NFC or in the NFC North. And I think for Green Bay, what you talked about is the fan base is so less concerned about a team, especially like the Vikings who are in 4th place. and so much concerned with what's going on in our own house that we're not even looking outside. So I do think if it was Packers Bears week, maybe it would get a lot more because the Bears are in first place and that rivalry is there. Now, all right, the Bears are in first, the Packers are in second. We just saw that game get flexed because of, I think, this very reason. Whereas right now, the Vikings game doesn't have a lot of juice because JJ McCarthy's terrible, and this game is not the sexiest game on paper between a team that's trying to get right and a team that just I don't think can get right in the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, prediction time, and I want 2 predictions. Number 1, what do you think is going to happen? And number 2, what does it have to look like from a score standpoint for Andy to show up in a helmet on Monday?
All right, so I'm going to say 27-16. We're sticking with 27-16. I said 27-13 earlier in the week. I'm giving the Vikings 3 more points. 27-16 Packers in this game. They win by 11. They feel good. And I'm trying to think what would be helmet worthy.
What's the span?
I just think a good old fashioned dominant performance. We're probably talking like I don't know, maybe at least at minimum, probably a 14-point win. Unless it's like, if all of a sudden it's like 16-0 Vikings and the Packers go on like a 20 or like a 31-point run or something, 27-point run, and just like boat race them and like that, maybe there's a little bit of an extra added incentive there. But I'm going to say it's probably going to take like a 3-score win for it to be helmet worthy.
So 3 scores, so 14 plus. Is that what you're saying? 17 points?
Yeah, like 17 points, I would say. Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Oh wow.
So 17's the line. Okay, Josh.
All right.
Don't hold me to that. They might win by 6, and I might be feeling it on Monday. So you never quite know.
They come away with a dub. I want that damn helmet on. I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say if it's 17, if it's 17 points, that's the line. Okay. If it's over 17, Andy wears the helmet. If it's under 17, but we still win, I'll wear a helmet.
Ooh.
If it's 17 points exactly, Josh does the show with his shirt off.
Okay, the police will be called. And we will,
hey, you've done a podcast without your shirt on.
I know, and the police
I don't want to
will
spend the entire game just hoping that it's not a 17-point victory.
You and the entire state of Wisconsin.
I'm going to be cheering for JJ McCarthy at the end. JJ, just put up some damn points. Come on, help us out.
Come on, get in range.
Just a field goal, just anything. Just safety, anything.
Safety. Andy Herman, the Pack a Day podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Go Pack, go, bud. We'll talk to you Monday.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks, Andy.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law.
Why don't I get a helmet? Why can't I put the helmet on, or the cheese head, or you should have to do the shirt without a shirt on too.
Shirt without a shirt?
Yeah.
You're rattled.
I'm all flustered now. No, I'm catching strays out here to end the show.
That was great.
Man.
That was great.
I'm all like, yeah, this would be fun. Okay, if the score is perfect, I'll wear the helmet. And then you throw without a shirt on. Oh.
17. Exactly 17. Josh, the odds of that happening.
I'll tell you what, we do that. If you're watching us right now, if we do that, it's gonna be so zoomed in on the stream. You'll see my nose hairs.
I want people to walk past the studio window and go, what the?
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Jeez. All right, what's up, Wisconsin? What are you doing tonight and this weekend? Who's hunting? Who's coming to the Packer game in Green Bay? Who is taking the kids out for ice cream dinner? Traditions unlike any other this weekend here in the state of Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are inside Wisconsin sports with Trevor and Josh. Stay here.
Trevor and Josh want to know.
What's up?
What's up, Wisconsin?
What's up?
What's your plan for the day?
What's up?
What are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Oh, what's up, Wisconsin? The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. So many texts about deer hunting. And Trevor, here's an elk that was in our yard. We got tagged on social media by some pictures of trail cameras.
Oh, I bet.
And, of course, there's, like, other sports to talk about from this weekend. What's up with Josh today? You doing anything that you probably have nothing going on Friday afternoon?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Especially not something I woke up already thinking about, like going to Natty Oaks and getting that big old bowl of chili.
Big old bowl.
Oh, cannot wait. Cannot wait for 11 a.m.
I feel like chili today, too. In Northeast Wisconsin, there's a couple chili spots, but there's really one. With all due respect to everybody else's chili. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
What?
The Drift Inn.
Have you been there?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah. Our friend John Kuhn, you can hear him from 9 to noon, by the way. As soon as he learned how much I love that big old bowl of chili at Natty Oaks, he was like, hey, next time you're up here in Green Bay, I got a place I got to take you.
Do you ever make chili at home? Do you have a good chili recipe?
Nope. Don't need one.
Fair.
I've had a ton of people say, well, do you make your own chili? Blah, blah. And I go, why would I when I literally have a place that I go and enjoy the best chili? So
my wife has an incredibly good chili recipe. And when I say recipe, I mean she doesn't even know what the recipe is. It's
okay.
Just a little bit of this. It's how she cooks. And
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm
Sprinkle
not
this,
ripping on it.
this. Yeah.
However, Drift Inn up here sells their like ingredient packet of spices in a small cup that you can buy. And then you take it home, follow the instructions, and now you got Drift Inn chili at home. It's officially chili season in Wisconsin. I'm not a summertime chili guy. Are you?
Yes.
You get a big old bowl of chili every Friday, no matter what?
If it's Friday, you bet.
Oof, can't do it.
Oh, I can.
Can't
It's
do
amazing.
it. Tonight, basketball season. Wisconsin men's basketball versus number 9 BYU. It's out in Salt Lake City. It's the first time these two are seeing each other since the NCAA tournament last year. The Badgers are 4-0. BYU is ranked 9th. That's all you need to know. 91-89 was the final score of the NCAA tournament loss game back last March.
Yep.
Tonight, also, we're not sure who made the trip, but UW Green Bay is playing Yale.
Yeah, I was curious if he reached out to you and he let you know, like, hey.
He didn't. I wish we could FaceTime on this little video thing, because I
Yeah.
would totally FaceTime him right now and be like, hey, who made the trip? Yeah, right. If we FaceTime Doug Gottlieb right now, we wouldn't hang up with him until a solid 9:12.
Yeah, it would be halfway through 9 to noon.
Wouldn't work. You said that the Milwaukee Panthers have a game too.
Yeah, super interesting. The Milwaukee Panthers on Saturday have a game against Wichita State. I think this is the first time, at least that I can remember, that the two of the schools that I went to, two colleges that I went to, are playing each other. It's not in like a tournament or anything either. It's just those lined up.
So be it. Marquette plays 2 against Central Michigan at the Fiserv. That's tomorrow at 1:00. Of course, Wisconsin football versus number 21 Illinois this weekend at Camp Randall. That game time is tomorrow night at 6:30. I move on because we have no expectations for that game, right, Josh?
Yeah. Nope.
Packers, Vikings, the big one, noon on Sunday, Fox TV. Packers, Vikings, one hell of a flyover. If you live here in Northeast Wisconsin, or if you're just planning on coming up for the game, get in there for the flyover. Put down the last beer in the parking lot and start walking in. You've been to Packer games before, but Josh, have you been lately when they hit the fireworks with an hour to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a game-changing deal that was for
Oh,
me.
Absolutely. It's a huge sparkly alarm. That's what it is.
Oh, gotta go.
We gotta go in.
That's usually the time when you start closing down the tailgate.
Right.
Those go off. You kind of look at each other and go, all right. Let's
one
wrap it up.
more.
Now,
One more,
here's
and then we'll go.
Here's the real question. If you're tailgating in the parking lot and you now know you're headed in, how many beers are you grabbing for the walk?
Where's the tailgate?
Doesn't matter. It's in the parking lot.
I'm saying
you're
2.
in the Lambeau Field parking lot.
And 2.
It's definitely 2.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with the second one. I'm slamming probably 3/4 of that thing at the gate.
Well, yeah, but that's the fun of it.
Is it? Because now I really got to go to the bathroom.
It's a test. Well, good thing you're going inside where there are bathrooms.
Well, not until like 3/4 of the way through the first quarter, typically.
All right. Hey, we got to quickly here. We got to get our predictions in. What's your score prediction?
The Packers are going to win by 17.
I hate you so much.
It is going to be 37-20 Packers.
Okay. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, and I'm going to go 23-16 Packers.
A late score to get that score? Like,
I honestly, I don't even know, but it's going to be close and annoying because too many of the games this year have been.
17-0 after the first quarter. You heard it here first.
Packers. As long as it doesn't stay that way, it's fine.
No, Packers, not Vikings.
Yeah.
Packers.
Yeah, but I don't want that to be the final score. Have this final score can be 17-3, it can be 27-20.
Buddy, I don't know what the HR says there down in Milwaukee, but that would be, you think we have watchers and viewers right now on YouTube and Twitter when we're live?
We'd lose them all.
Oh, no. I think they're all coming.
Nope.
I think they're all coming.
Yeah. Listen, I don't care to do it. It's the camera would be like, why is there a white light blinding us?
Just your eyeball.
Yeah. No, or my chest.
Thank you to all of our guests today. It was Guestapalooza on Inside Wisconsin Sports today. Frankie Bag of Donuts winners. Thanks to him and for helping us understand the difference between the 90s Vikings and the now Vikings and what all goes into that. He was great. WBAY Sports Director Dave Schrader joined us. The Wisconsin DNR white-tailed deer specialist Jeff Pritzel. And, of course, our guy Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day podcast. All right, Wisconsin, a big Wisconsin sports weekend. Please, hunters, be safe. Eat lots of food. Drink a responsible amount of beer at deer camp and come home with meat for your family. But please, first and foremost, come home. Be safe this weekend.
Agreed.
All right, Wisconsin, as you were, we'll see you on Monday.
Because we are not done yet.